Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the League One Review Show. We're flying through the episodes. I'm joined tonight. I'm not flying solo, which is it's a better feeling, so much better. But tonight I'm joined by the regular Punk Chef 41. Links to all the socials are in the description down below. Go ahead and follow Jake on YouTube. Jake, tell us what you're all about, mate.
So I do Sheffield Wednesday content for my sins, and so far, so good. It's been okay. I also have a podcast with another Sheffield Wednesday fan called Talking Wednesday, which is every Tuesday on Dexterity Box, the channel for the video. And if you want to listen to it, it's on all good podcast platforms of choice. And this week will be a bumper episode because we had to miss a week's episode because Dex Blessing got COVID.
There we go. So I'm looking forward to a bumper episode this week. And you'll also see below us, we have got Lizzie back on the programme. So the last time you were here, it was just before a women's supporters group meet up against Lincoln. How did that go?
Really, really well. Yeah. I mean, we've had so much positive feedback from a club perspective and from fans, both Lincoln and of Doncaster. People come in who've never, met up with us before. A lot more interest in the group. I mean, I was talking to one of our members, Danny, yesterday, and she was on the coach to Burton, and they were saying just how good they think it is. All these old gadgets being like, "Oh, I love your women's group, Danny. It's well good. I saw you on Facebook," and that's what we want. Some real positivity, and I think it means a lot when it comes from men as well, because it makes you feel like you're supported by everybody, which is just brilliant. Really happy. Only better things to come now because it's Christmas and we're going to have some real party time, I think, as a women's group, which will be. That's my kind of fun. Just have a drink.
Definitely. Looking forward to that. And I'm on the side of the fence where if it means bums on seats, bring them on. So exactly. What it's all about, getting people down to the ground.
For everyone.
Yeah,
really
exactly. It's a sport for absolutely everybody, regardless of background, race, religion, gender, you name it. Everybody is welcome. So you're doing some fantastic work.
Thanks.
Anybody who's watching the show at the minute, please get in on the chat. We've got Captain Nat here,
Captain Nat, that's the regular for mine.
Yep. Get comments in, and we will try and go through as many as possible. We try to keep it to around half an hour an episode. We always go over. I assume it's going to go over tonight.
It's going to go over today. It's
a lot of games, mate.
A lot of games. We always go over.
Yeah, I think I even went over when I was on my own. So it's not.
Right.
There's
in the sound of your own voice, Dan, and then there's that in there.
I really don't like the sound of my own voice.
Time after time, you get sick of it.
We'll fly through Tuesday night's fixtures. We will start with the Sheffield Wednesday MK Dons. We do have some MK Dons supporters who are regulars to the channel. We've got Jonathan. I don't know if he's in yet. He's
not in yet, but I know he went.
Well, Jonathan, when you're in the chat, please let us know that you are. Jake, tell us about this game, because
we absolutely battered them, but we got the first goal was an absolute worldie, and can clubs stop it at the minute? It's going worldies against us. It's not fair because you couldn't stop it. Twine just got it 25 yards and smacked it, and we were all thinking it's going to happen again. We're not going to be able to do this. Lee Gregory, great little goal. But icing on the cake with Josh Winder, 93rd minute, hits it and doesn't really know how to celebrate because he's just come back from injury. But absolute smashes it, misses the kick first time, said he did it on purpose. I don't believe that. Misses the kick and then hits it on the second attempt. Absolute screamer for us, and everyone went wild. And it's so nice to hear Wednesday rocking again, because we've been toxic, fighting about stupid thing when we don't need to be, considering where we are in the table. But it's just one of the things. We've got the situation where we make a lot of chances, but we don't bury them enough. And it would nice to be clinical and get a 93rd minute winner, because how many times have I come on the show and go, hey, we did it again in the 90th minute and we lost it, and we did it for somebody else this time. It was so refreshing.
There's so many weeks where we could just kind of put out last week's episode and it's roughly the same. Talk about players that are no longer with Donny scoring. Talk about Wednesday drawing it last minute.
Yeah.
That's about as good as it gets. So positive result late on.
Yeah, very good. I'm very happy with how the lads performed, and especially against MK Dons, who are flying. And it's like something clicked now with them.
Well, Well, to be honest, Jonathan, Scott Twine's just as much of a cheat
Yeah.
code, isn't he?
To
And
be
like, I
fair,
was
Lee Gregory was
ridiculous.
lucky to still be on the pitch because he did stamp on one of their players, and I feel for him when something like that happened. But ref didn't see it, but we also hit him. We were like, "You got lucky there."
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
a game changing moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, really
So,
good.
But yeah, Jonathan is always a very unbiased supporter. So
He is.
yeah, he's popped in there saying Wednesday fully deserved it, which is nice to see.
Right, Josh Wind after the cheat codes. So we've got Barry Bannett and Josh Wind after the cheat codes. I'll accept that.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
very
most
good.
of the squad, to be honest, not to complain. Most of the squads that aren't ours have got some cheat codes in them, it feels like, at the minute. But
Yeah.
MK Dons are so good, though. It's a really good result for you all like that.
It really
Really
was. I was
result.
very
I
happy.
can't believe we beat them. The more I look back on that fixture, the more confused I am that we beat them because they're so good and we're so poor.
Yeah. And talking about being so poor, we'll move on to the
Brilliant.
Bolton against Rovers. We've got a couple of messages from Andrew DRFC Elwell. So before we start, no splinters in your backside, Dan. Wellens in or out. I am still Wellens in. I'm a firm believer in giving them time and an opportunity. I know it's against the grain at the minute in the Rovers fan base. I don't know what side of the fence you're on at the minute, Lizzie.
I
Sorry to put you on the
honestly
spot.
don't know. I'm having a bit of a mental breakdown about it because, like you, I believe in giving managers time, but also I don't know if, you look at the examples of managers who've been given time and gone on well. They're renowned for the man management. They're really likable. They come across well at interview. I'm not sure Wellens is doing any of those things right at the minute. And I certainly don't know what kind of style of football we're playing. So it's hard to have belief in a project when I don't know what the project is. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm having every day, every 5 minutes, it's different. Like I'm in or out. I can't really work it out. But
I look at it, I'm struggling to think who we could bring in who would change it with the squad that we've got. So I think we've got to give him at least January.
But
see what he brings in, see if the board back him, and then see where it goes from there.
I mean, but the only thing is, has he got the? I can't remember. What has he got enough about him to bring in the right, like the right players? Do you know what I mean? Like, does
has he
he
got the
have
power?
like with
What's the
Darren Moore
budget?
when he and the budget. Well, the board have got to. If we keep Wellens, the board have to break the bank in January. Because we could be 10 points adrift to safety by January, realistically. And that needs, so if we're going to keep Wellens until the new year, then he needs to be given the biggest backing we've given since we got relegated into League Two last time. And there's got to be some really serious acquisitions made for me to feel confident in what's happening, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's tough times at the Rovers, and we were both there at Bolton on Tuesday. For me, I thought it was a decent first 30 minutes. I think if Taylor's scored his chance early on at 0-0, we could be talking about a victory or a draw. But football is football. The first goal, Owen Doyle, I think he's offside. It's very tight.
Yeah, it probably was offside, but they'd probably still have scored 3 no matter if any of those goals were sort of, disallowed. I think they'd still probably gone on to win it by several goals because we just seemed to, once John Taylor missed that chance, and then there was another chance missed after like a corner. It was like a big scramble.
A bit of a melee in there, weren't there?
Every player had a go and none of them could bloody score. And from that point onwards, the heads just went. And I said to my dad, right, that's it now, we'll lose this. And I could just feel it. You could feel the change in the confidence of the players.
Yeah.
But that first half an hour is the best we've looked all season. And that makes it even more annoying.
Yeah, I was in the home end. We went into hospitality for Anthony's 40th birthday.
With his prawn sandwiches.
Any Bolton fans, thank you for the hospitality. It was great. The meal was fantastic, but you could feel the tension in the home end in that first 30 minutes. I think they thought it was going to be an easier game than what it was. And you could hear them getting on Bolton players' backs. But then the first goal, the red card, killed the game, and Bolton deserved the 3 points. They absolutely battered us from there on in, really. Red card, just a quick one on that. Do you think it was? I don't.
I don't think it was, but it was still a stupid challenge. And that's because he's young, innit? Like, he's like literally my age. So it's kind of, it's frustrating. But again, we've gone down to 10 men and not lost by that bigger margin before in our history. It does happen. We shouldn't, I think Wellens blaming that on our loss was ridiculous because we were already 1-0 down. We'd already lost the confidence that we'd come out with. and we'd already looked like a different team. The fight just disappears when we start to have a little bit of a drop in performance, and it's really hard to watch. At least I was, had a good view of that foul from where I was sat, and it was no reaction from the player who was fouled by Olaru. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but it's one of those things. Football, that happens in football. That's just what happens, unfortunately. And we can't be hung up on a red card when there were so many other things wrong with the performance after that first goal. So, even after that miss from Taylor.
Yeah.
As soon as Taylor missed that, you could just feel the confidence just dripping out of him, and then it's just a shame, really.
That happens though a lot though. The moment if you don't get it clicking straight away, you're downhill for the rest of it.
Yeah, and it was another away defeat and a long way home, long journey home. But I thought we'd go again on Saturday, but we'll get to those in a short while. So moving on to Morecambe against Charlton.
Good point for Morecambe. This.
Yeah, another game where Jackson has avoided defeat. Charlton looked a team that was struggling, dead and buried. Well, maybe not dead and buried, but definitely struggling in the league. Adkins leaves, Jackson takes over, and what a job he's doing to begin with. Yeah.
Morecambe starting to just have that edge that they had to start with slip a little bit now, aren't they? I think they're starting to find what their feet are in this league. I still don't see them going down. They're very well organised, and it's just if Stockton goes, they need to find someone to replace for goal, because if he goes in January, that could go for them.
Yeah,
definitely.
For me. If Stockton's not there at the end of January, I think Morecambe could be in a bit of bother, because Stockton currently top scorer in the league with 13 goals. He alone has scored more than Donny Rovers.
Don't. Why would you say things like that? That's just going to upset me, innit?
This channel is all about being unbiased and giving an open view on everything, and we're rubbish.
Yeah, we are.
We'll be fine though. Don't worry about it. League 2 tour will be fun.
Oh, I loved it last time. I did.
Moving on to Shrewsbury against Sunderland. This is another result that Rovers fans didn't really want to see, because Shrewsbury are in there with us. A bit of a dip in form for Sunderland at the minute. Thoughts on them?
They're a team that fans are already on the back about Johnson. I don't get why. All teams have this little blip, but it seems like it's coming at the wrong time. I think if they recruit well in January, they'll be in and around it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. Like, it's an overreaction with them. Shrewsbury Shrewsbury at the minute just don't know when to give up at times, and that's what you want when you're in that position. Really, they know what to do and keep going.
Yeah, showing a bit of fight and desire. Down to 10 men.
Yeah, and coming back to equalise. Wow, it's almost like my point has been made by this result.
Just because you go down a man doesn't mean that that's game over.
And it feels like they're really fighting for Cottrell. I think maybe because he was so poorly as well. I think they feel really determined to do well for him. I don't think there's any of that at Donny at the minute. But
this result is annoying for me, because George Hurst is scoring now, and we play them soon. He's probably going to come back and bite me in the backside.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because it's a heavy shirt to wear, Jonathan. You're right. I think a lot of these teams in League One now that have got these massive fan bases, they're kind of punching below their weight a little bit by being in League One.
You've seen in a long time so many former Premiership teams in one league.
This is what I mean. Yeah, it's just madness. And being a Donny fan, you just look at the teams that you're playing and you think, oh my God, they're all so they've all got such rich histories, and then there's just us.
Before we continue with Lincoln Portsmouth, quite good questions coming. Team this year that surprised you the most, both positive and negative. So for me, positively, it'd have to be Plymouth. I think they've recruited very well in defence, and although they've hit a bit of a blip at the minute, I think they've started absolutely superbly and looked a very good team. Negatively, it's got to be Donny Rovers for me. I had it in 12th as a rebuilding. Just so below my expectations this season. It's unreal, and it's getting more and more difficult to create content positively when it comes to us. What about you two guys on that one?
I personally am very impressed with Plymouth, even though they're on a dip at the minute. They just managed to have that rebuild and carry on from last season, and it's just really well done. And we've been bumped by them twice now at their place, and they're just so good at times. And you're like, we were poor, but when they break, they are quick. and
Yeah.
he got them playing to. It's like he got a team who's been told you're not going to get into your first teams at your old clubs. Come here, chip on the shoulder, gonna show you what we're made of. And
Yeah.
sadly, I gotta say it, Donny just don't. They don't fill me with any confidence when I see some of the highlights, and everything just doesn't sound great at a minute. And I want it to be completely different. And a lot of people know I'm a Donny lad. I always look out for Donny Rovers results, and
Yeah.
it's weird watching Donny because I thought when Richie Wells went in, he might have been the man to be okay and settle things and get things going, and it just doesn't seem like it got there yet.
No, I think you're right about Plymouth players having something to prove. When we when God's sake.
That would be the friend from work who I've mentioned on this channel before.
Yeah, well,
and he got me a pint last night, so it's been
there you
repaid.
go. Even that's fine then. No, don't you worry. No one's judging you here. It's fine. But yeah, you're right without
Andrew
Plymouth.
is.
And Andrew's fine. I'm sure he's fine. He's just jealous you're not buying him a pint, Dan. That's what it is. Next week.
Not mad
Nope, not that. He'll be skint by the end of December.
Signing autographs and buying pints for his adoring fans. Yeah.
Right, moving on quickly before I am paying out pints left, right, and centre. So, the Lincoln Portsmouth game, the Cowley brothers returned to Lincoln for the first time, and 3-3 for Harness. And it was a positive return for the Cowley brothers, and Portsmouth starting to get a bit of momentum.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to see that as well, to be honest, because I think the Cowley brothers have had, especially against Lincoln as well. Oh, I love that. I love that sort of. I mean, they've got a real. I think they are a good fit for Portsmouth. It's just going to take time. Oh, by the way, can I answer that question that you two answered?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
This is right. Okay, I'm not going to say Plymouth. That surprised me because I feel like we've done that to death. Cheltenham are my one that have surprised me because it's full of. I mean, I think, mate, especially as a Rovers fan, you're looking at these players that we were saying, oh, well, they're probably not good enough for League One now. There's 3 of them in that side, and they've all proven that they're more than good enough for League One, and they're not looking like going down at all. They're just going to be a mainstay. And obviously, Rovers are a disappointment one for us. But I don't think I need to say that, really.
Ian popped in, a regular viewer of the channel, MK positive. Sorry, but Rovers negative. Yeah, I'd agree with that. MK Don's doing very well.
MK are looking really good.
Well, yeah, it's been a clean sweep for the Rovers.
Yay!
I don't want to give you a trophy or reward to that. It's not nice.
Wooden spoon, isn't it? So moving on to Burton against Accrington Stanley, and I think this scoreline flatters Burton. After watching the highlights, it was all Accrington's own doing defensively. Poor passes, just really slack at the back,
which is really bizarre.
Capitalised at every single opportunity.
That's really bizarre by them because they're normally well drilled with that, and they're really hard to break down.
Yeah.
So this came as a bit of a shock for me.
So then I was looking at what happened on Saturday to see how Accrington kind of responded from Tuesday night. So we'll move on to that in a short while. On to Wimbledon against Crewe. This was a good result for us Rovers fans, keeping Crewe below us. But
till the death.
Yeah, a little bit nervy towards the end when Crewe brought one back. But Wimbledon, they're in desperate need for the points down towards the bottom end of the table as well. So yeah, they'll be happy with those 3 points. A well-earned 3 points against Crewe. Any thoughts on this one?
I just can't believe that Crewe somehow managed to be worse than us every week. Honestly, I'm like, every time I think Crewe must have won now. Like, surely we're bottom, and then we never are. And I'm like, how on earth are we not bottom in this league? It just blows my mind a little bit. To be honest, just depressing.
We mentioned Plymouth hitting a little bit of a blip at the minute. This was the 3rd straight defeat after being so dominant. Early on in the season. But even in this game, 27 shots, 67% possession, only 4 on target. That's the disappointing stat in this.
I think that all this is, it just shows one team was clinical, the other wasn't. It could have been. The other team
what they can do very well. Not really having much of the ball, but what they do have, they use it very well.
And they waste a lot of studying time.
Yeah, Sam Vokes, very good player at this level.
I just can't believe he plays in League One, Sam Vokes. Every time I see he scored, I'm like, why on earth are you in this league? Jesus Christ, it just blows my mind. Ridiculous.
But then a late double kind of kills the game off, and Plymouth 3 defeats on the bounce.
Yeah.
On to Cambridge against Wigan. I think this was a fantastic result for Cambridge, a team that is struggling a little bit to find any sort of form, and clinical with their chances.
Yeah. I think that's what it would take.
I can't see them going down. They look really well organised.
Yeah, them and Cheltenham have both come up and really proven. When we played against both of them, I thought neither of these teams are getting relegated. Same with Morecambe, actually. All three of them have just come into the league and just looked like they were ready for League One a season ago.
Yeah.
And good.
Joe
Ironside's a right player.
For Cambridge.
I wonder how much he's going for in January.
There's a lot of
consider
strikers though in this league who could be out the door, and it could be interesting to see how clubs replace them.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting January. I hope that we have a busy January. We need it.
I hope it's better than August.
A team that don't need to do any additional kind of work in January is Rotherham, because their strength in depth is ridiculous. Ian, by all means, whack it in the chat. A very, very good week for you guys. A 2-0 win at Ipswich, which is no mean feat. Us Donny fans know that. We got battered 6-0 there. Pretty routine for you boys.
Yeah.
It's Rotherham. They know what to do in this league. Let's just put it as that.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
It's
They've
difficult
got the
for a
best
Rose fan
manager,
to say this, but I can't heap enough praise on Rotherham at the minute for how they're handling League One and how they're going about the business. It's just.
And is it 5 years now for?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
I am so jealous.
Mulligan,
what's
Tractor Boys are
the
lucky to get enough.
stability with managers? Never heard of it.
Well, this is why I'm still on the Wellens inside, because you've got Paul Warne there who's
I know.
Been there forever, but I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, Lizzie. Paul Warne's a very different personality.
He's a different personality, isn't he? He's just so nice. He's just so lovely. Bless him.
He comes across as though he'd be able to put rocket up backsides in the changing room, though.
Yeah, he must have something about him. We just don't see it in the media, which is perfect. That's what Wellens should do.
On to Oxford against Fleetwood. This game was in doubt because of COVID, but Oxford managed to put a team out, and against a struggling Fleetwood.
Sack.
Yeah, it was the final nail in the coffin, wasn't it? You'd be expecting to go to a team that's been thrown together.
Yeah.
You'd be expecting to go there and at least get a point, if not 3.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this led to Grayson sacking, and not a great performance for Fleetwood. So away defeat and another manager gone. So one to watch out for as the weeks go to see how Fleetwood fare with a new person in charge.
It was weird actually after that game, because a lot of Rover fans were like, right, why can't we now sack him? If they see it, why can't we? And it's like, well, different situations board and stuff.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Fleetwood, I don't have that much sympathy for Fleetwood just because they always beat us. So it's quite nice. Like, it's a shame.
They're a bogey team. So in the final game, the Tuesday night fixtures, 25 minutes gone, so it's going to be a long one tonight. So stick with us. It was Gillingham against Cheltenham. Gillingham struggling, decimated by injuries, and it's showing similar to us, a team lacking in confidence. But we've mentioned Cheltenham already. They're going about their business in League One very well. And Alfie May is the first ex-Rovers player that we're going to mention scoring a goal midweek. And Jonathan Harris, I echo that. Really concerned for Gillingham. I think they will be one of the 4 teams going down, essentially with us and Crewe, if things don't change quickly. But yeah, a good result away from home for Cheltenham there.
Yeah, it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for Gillingham.
I'm kind of going to come across harsh here. It couldn't happen to a nicer manager.
I was just going to say that. It's hard to have any sympathy when they've got that clown in charge, isn't it?
I can't have any sympathy.
Really hard.
Yeah, exactly. So on to the Saturday games. We will start with Sheffield Wednesday against Wycombe. The floor is all yours, Jake.
Weird one, because we started really well and it was just a freak kind of goal that really caught flat-footed. I'm pretty sure Longo for us, who's just come back from injury, perfect to have him back, but he's jogging back into the box. And it's like, you need to be there a lot faster to stop this lad, and just didn't. And then we had the incident in half. We had a 9-minute break. Everyone thought there was a medical emergency in the grounds. No, two went to fight. Decided to have a fight about Barry Bannon, and it stopped the game for like 9 minutes while they got sorted out and kicked out. And it the most ridiculous thing you'll hear. And as always, Twitter went mental with all the usual stuff. We had a conversation before we came on air, but yeah, they were fighting each other. They're just idiots. I've got
Clown.
they are clowns, and to be fair, it was a strange one. But that little break actually helped them because it gave them a chance to regroup, go back in the dressing room. Got the goal just before half time, which is always a great time to get it. I thought Lee Gregor was very unselfish. He could have had it himself and gave it to Shodipo. Shodipo with a tidy finish, and then we started really well out of the blocks. And it's another great goal by Josh Windass. He
should have done better though, Jake, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
He won't want to watch that back, surely.
No. But it's a great first touch to stop it and sets himself up, gets the goal, 2-2, shows you how much we've missed him.
Yeah.
And their goal, I want to say it's a wonder goal, but Bailey Peacock, you see it in the highlights, he goes to go to his right straight away without going to his left, and he's flat-footed himself. So it's just poor positioning. And you see Barry Bannon in the picture going absolutely mental because he's got his little nightmare when he's angry. We had a game last season. I remember him shouting at Joe Wildsmith, and because there were no fans, you heard every last little word of what he said. And it was quite interesting to hear him say certain things about his own player. But we absolutely battered them, to be fair. We should have got all 3 points. But we're now 10 undefeated. The rock gone a little bit, and we're looking a bit more solid. We just need to tighten up in back.
Yeah, 10 unbeaten, that's consistency that you want at this level, isn't it?
I can only dream of 10 unbeaten.
Let's quickly go through this one. Lizzie, you were there. You braved the elements. I didn't. I went Christmas shopping, and then I
think you took the better option, though, Dan.
Yeah. There was a bloke. There was a bloke stood behind me, Dan, and he said to his mate, he goes, "God, would you rather be here or going to Meadowhall with your missus?" He says, "I think I'd rather go to Meadowhall with my missus." And I was like, God, times are bleak at Doncaster Rovers at the minute.
That's where we're at. But no, tell us, is it as bad as it seems? 2 shots, none on target, 40% possession. Were we really that poor?
I think in the first half we were okay. I mean, in the first time we looked, I mean, they weren't a world-beating performance, but we were okay. Like, we didn't look like we were going to lose. We thought, maybe we'll get a 0-0. That'll be nice. Nice treat of a 0-0.
Praying for a 0-0.
Right, yeah. And, I don't know why it just came out in the second half. That free kick, I'm sorry. I know everybody likes him, but Dolberg should have got to that. It's a massive goalkeeping error. I think he should have. I think I might have saved it. And it makes me sad, but I think if he saves that, it's a different game. But as soon as it went in, you can see, because I was so near to the goal as it went in, you can see the players just lose morale. All these young lads.
Was it kind of a head drop, completely gone?
Yeah, you could see it. You could see them all. Just the only people that didn't immediately lose confidence were the Toms at the back, Tommy Rowe and Tom Anderson. And it doesn't matter how much Tom Anderson shouts at you, telling you to get your heads up. It obviously didn't work because then Jefferson goes on to score a back heel against us.
Same.
And it's just dead and buried. It just feels like I did not understand the selection process for the team. I don't get why we've played our top goal scorer at centre half when we've got Ben Blythe on the bench. What kind of message does that send to him? I think Lewis Jones didn't deserve to be dropped after Bolton. I'd have kept him involved. I don't know. It just makes me sad because they just looked so rubbish. Jordi Hawula was just not running that extra yard that you want him to run. Aidan Barlow tries hard, but has no real quality when it comes to the final third. Brandon Orton were all right. Kyle Noyle there's nothing about that team that inspires me at the moment. I mean, Yeah,
Also,
you're right.
in other news, water is wet.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really surprised. That's not a shock to me, mate. I've watched him play every week. We're just terrible. And it's just, I'm so uninspired by the team. They've got no confidence. There's no, when we used to go 1-0 down under McCann or Moore or Ferguson, it would often light a fire under our asses and we'd go at it and try to win, and quite often would. Especially under Grant McCann, we had a bit of a thing where we would go behind and that would almost start the game for us and we'd go on to win it 2-1 or 3-1. We don't have that. Honestly, don't even tempt me because I would die for John Marquis.
Drive and pick him up and fetch him back home.
I would pay for his. I think I'd happily donate half my salary to his wages.
Talking about where manager could kip, with obviously someone's got a place to cook kip.
Yeah, I mean, if John Marquis can have my spare room and Neil Warnock can have Dan's, and then we're sorted. And then we'll be fine. Yeah, just so uninspiring, difficult to watch. We don't have a football style. At Bolton, I could almost see it a little bit. If we tried to press a bit, that were great. But it was half an hour all season that I've seen it look like we have some kind of style about our team.
As soon as that first goal goes in, though, we're just deflated and
it could have been 4, 5, 6. It could have been 6 or 7. And I know that goal, people thought it might have been offside. Watched it back on Quest, definitely onside. But you know what? It doesn't matter. If it were offside, they'd have still scored another one. They'd have still scored 2, 3 more.
It still counts, so no point arguing.
Yeah. Exactly, but it was definitely onside, having watched it back. But also, it don't matter because even if it had been disallowed, they'd just got another one because they absolutely had the better of us. Yeah. Sorry, it's like therapy.
Is this your bit that I had last week, like copy and repeat?
Yeah, it's really bad. Honestly, I feel like I'm at therapy, just talking about how miserable going to Rovers is making me. I'm like a shell of a woman at this point. It's just so depressing.
Yeah, we still put his hands in his pocket and go. We're crazy.
Oh yeah, I've just bought me blooming third kit this morning. Oh, I forgot to buy that. I just spent 45 quid on a shirt. Like, why am I doing this?
So we have now broken the half an hour mark. We knew we would. We've got 10 games to go through.
Okay.
What's this, Ian? Helpful. You'd think a fan of the best team in the league, you'd know better.
There's a comment saying, there's a comment going, Donny gets battered everywhere they go.
Yeah, it was
what. I mean, that's what it's in reply to.
We've got no argument against it, though. It's just a fact. So
you want to improve Donny Rovers' form? Start betting on them.
Yeah, stick Donny in your accumulator every single week, and you'll or bet against them.
Just get Ian Everett to say they're the best team in the league. See if that helps. The worst team in the league.
He needs to come out and say we're actually the best team in the league. We're just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
We're just having a little bit of a play before we get to like January, and then we're properly going to go.
Yeah, just you wait.
A head start.
Going to be the comeback of the season.
Yeah. So on to Cambridge against Sunderland. The Elements playing havoc for the first goal, straight in from the corner. Well, kind of hit the post, hit the keeper, went in. Absolute chaos in the box.
Keeper couldn't do nothing about that.
Yeah. Sam Smith scoring the equaliser. That's his 9th goal of the season, and a tiny little finish. But the goal of the weekend for me from Broadhead on the 36th minute. I don't know if you've seen it. It struck so well.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get any closer to the top corner than what he did.
This has kind of quietly pleased me, though, right? Because I was talking to my dad yesterday, and Sunderland were having this bad run, right? And we've played recently Charlton, who were having a bad run, beat us 4-0. We ended their bad run. Bolton were having a bad run, beat us 3-0. We ended their bad run. Sunderland's bad run looks like it might be over, so we might not end it on Boxing Day on telly now. So that's really good. I'm really pleased that we might not end their terrible run live in front of the world in like a month's time, because I was just not prepared for that at all. So that's a positive.
Well, we're just a team that keep on giving, so
yeah.
Nice
Christmas time, so you're just being friendly to everyone.
Yeah.
So on to the Morecambe MK Dons game. Jonathan will be very happy with this one.
Yep.
This is the third game in the last 4 where MK Dons have scored 4 goals. So they've had 2 4-1.
This is the result I was expecting against us.
Yeah.
I was expecting us to get battered, and the fact we didn't, it's like, where was this MK Dons versus us?
That's exactly how I feel, Jake. That is exactly how I feel. We beat these. We beat these in the league. And they're just, quite frankly, they could go up automatically if they keep doing what they're doing. They're really, really, really good, and they've just
Can you imagine what NK Don fans are going to get if they're in the Championship from some of the clubs up there? Jeez.
yeah. It's
Well,
just
the way that they're playing, they deserve to be there.
Yeah.
it's the strength and the depth as well in the squad. It's something we just don't have. If they have a player get injured, they've got a player who's equally as good who comes in and fills that gap. So when Isa was out, they didn't miss him, did they? Because they have like so many other fantastic attacking players that they can bring in.
It's not like Morecambe didn't give it a good go, because you look at shots and shots on target, they were in around it. It just wasn't their day.
I'd dream of 11 shots. That'd be like a win.
For me, though, it was O'Reilly this game. His first goal, nice, lovely bit of footwork inside the box to give him a bit of space, and then the quick free kick, the 1-2 from that just caught Morecambe napping, and put the cherry on top of a very good performance.
Yeah,
I'm always surprised why more teams don't try that quick free kick thing, because every time I say it normally works.
Yeah, just if the referee allows it to go. But yeah, it worked on Saturday for MK Dons. Fleetwood, Wimbledon. So Fleetwood, as we said earlier in the show, having a bit of a tough time of it at the minute. Grayson gets sacked, and they get a point. So there's something to be said about swapping and changing managers sometimes.
I think it's almost like that cultural reset for your players, isn't it? I mean, and Butler says that, Wellens says that there's a cultural problem from Butler's tenure with the one player that's still left from when Andy Butler was in charge in our first 11. Yeah, don't. Yeah, he says, there's a cultural problem.
On Twitter this week.
Yeah, Andy Butler's like gone on and like attacked. Yeah, but he said that like there was a problem with the culture before Wellens came. But 14 of these players he's brought in. So if there's a problem with the culture, is that not Wellens? It's like I can't think of very many players.
Really was good.
Shout out to Nappers. Videos are fantastic. Content creator. If you've not got him, hopefully we'll get him on the show when we play Fleetwood. But yeah, very good content creator, and his channel's going.
It's interesting.
Strength. Very good.
It'll be interesting to see who Fleetwood get in, won't it? It'll be interesting to see, and then I'm sure whoever it is will wish we'd got him, or I certainly will. For God's sake.
Yeah, but Wimbledon, another team that I think somebody put it in the comments that they know how to survive in this league, and I think they'll probably end up doing it again this season. They'll just kind of tick over nicely. They'll look like they're in danger of dropping out, but they'll just find results here and there.
They always seem to know how to pull out a result, even when they shouldn't do. They're all those teams that you can tell are well drilled, play for each other, and at the end of the day, it's just there.
Yeah.
This was an upset for the Cards. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, this one is an odd one.
Yeah.
So Oxford still kind of struggling with COVID, players out. So you'd have thought Rotherham, in the form that they're in, should have gone and turned them over. And they're unlucky to begin with. Smith hits post, Ladapo, it's the woodwork as well. So it could have been a very different story. 15 shots, 1 on target, but obviously those two that I've just mentioned would be classed as off target. I think you've got to credit to Oxford here with this one. They've dug in and performed well and got a very well earned point against the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
they just set up well, didn't they?
Yeah. But then you see Paul Warne coming out in the press and being like, "Yeah, but we got 4 points out of 2 really hard games. So like, I'm so pleased." And I'm like, "You are so lovely." Like, I wish you were so. Like, I just like we were going back went to my grandma's yesterday for like fish and chips. We were driving back and we saw Paul Warne pull onto his drive, and I was like, "I love you." Like, it was so nice. Like, I hate myself. Like, but what I would pay to have someone like him at Doncaster Rovers, you know, he's just.
It's amazing how he can get a team just play for him, and they already know. And it's like, when he deals with transfers, some of the stories I've heard in the past, he just comes across as a nice guy, tells it how it is, no BS.
Yeah, maybe that's why he got Will Grigg and we didn't.
Yeah, possibly. Well, I think we've got 6 games to go now before we round off with the table. So Plymouth against Wigan. We mentioned it earlier, the early season form. Just
doggo.
Yeah, the dog's coming in to say hello. But yeah, the early season form's deserting Plymouth. This is the 3rd straight defeat for them. But yeah, well battled for the first goal. Looked like the ball was going out of play, and he's managed to get it across to Will Keane. It was great first touch, turning shot for 1-0. Equaliser was very well hit, but Wigan are just a team that don't give up, and we've seen them
Mm.
draws late on, but this time very late on. Callum Lang.
And I know it's going to sound controversial, but could this be an effect of having too many games, i.e., having to play us in the replay and then now having FA Cup game coming up? Could it be a bit too much for the squad?
You sound like Jurgen Klopp.
Fatigue's starting to come in, and I think this period of the season we'll start to see which teams are putting the effort in training and who have had a good pre-season to set them up for this.
People will start to. Every team's going to have a bit of a bad spell, and if this is Plymouth, then it's come at a good time because there's a lot of games coming up where they can pick up points and they can stay within contention for automatics. So it's not the end of the world for them, is it?
Yeah, it's not a time to panic. I think they've started extremely well and they've got a good squad. So just a little blip, I think, in my opinion.
And Wickham and Wigan as well, 2 teams that you're not expecting to take 3 points from anyway. So it's not that. It's probably fine.
Captain Nat said, has the bubble burst or is it just a bad spell? I think we're in agreement that it's just a bit of a blip. I think they'll be back on track. Maybe after the FA Cup. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine.
I'm not too worried about Plymouth. I think they'll certainly stay in the top 6. I mean, they might not be automatic because Rotherham and Wigan and MK Dons are just so good, aren't they? So it's kind of it's going to be a tough battle, a really tough battle. So it'll be exciting for a neutral.
So on to Bolton against Cheltenham. So Alfie May, 3 goals in 2 games for him.
What is going on with Kachunga? He couldn't hit a barn door at Wednesday.
And what a goal it was as well.
It was a fantastic goal.
Yeah, it looked like an impossible angle. He's fired it into to get a share of the points. But yeah, Alfie May, solo effort for his first goal.
It was so good as well. That's what Alfie May's all about as a player, isn't it? Like
he just drives on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just. Oh God, what I would give for little Alfie May to play for us at the minute. He works so hard, and
you can't see him score twice. He's already giving you fair room out.
If he's only little, you could probably share with someone else. Sleep on City or something. Yeah.
No, a very good result for Cheltenham at Bolton. Both teams who have come up from League 2. But Bolton, it's a tough place to go, I think, for any team in League 1. So a good result there for them. On to Gillingham against Portsmouth. A very, very late winner here.
Handbags at the end as well.
I loved it. It
was awesome.
Yeah,
did you see that?
The nothing like seeing Steve Evans get his back up because teams celebrated in front of him getting a winner because he does it all the sodding time and someone done it to himself, so he's getting off.
Horrible though, isn't he? Like, I have no sympathy. And then he refused to shake the Cowley brothers' hands as well. Like, you are scum. You are actually scum. If he, God forbid, if he ever got the Rovers job, and he always bets on himself, so he ends up in the favourites whenever we've got a manager. And I'm always like, me and my dad have to start planning who we're going to support instead, because I could not imagine anybody worse at our club, and I just think he's horrible.
He's just a horrible man, isn't he?
And it's like,
he got no class for me.
Yeah, I hope someone smacks him at some point. I would love that.
We don't condone violence on this channel.
Wait, but he's a scumbag. Do you not remember when he flashed that steward when he was at Rotherham? And he got in trouble for tax evasion when he was at Boston.
Didn't he get done at Crawley as well?
Yeah, he gets done everywhere he goes because he's not a nice bloke. He got done at tax evasion for Boston when we were in the conference with him as well. And he's just, the whole time I've been watching Rovers, he's been like the pantomime villain, isn't he? Like, it's just...
Yeah, but he loves that role though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves people like that in football. And he plays it very, very well.
Yeah.
But Ian Bradley, spot on here. They should have had a penalty. Stonewall penalty. And then straight after, go up and score.
I don't have any sympathy, though. You know what I mean? Any of them like, oh, that's a shame. Oh, well.
One person I do have sympathy for is Cumming, the Gillingham keeper, had an absolute worldie of a game. Very unfortunate to concede. I think he deserved a clean sheet there, but as football, when you're down at the bottom of the table, sometimes
look at the draw in green as well there for Portsmouth, and they're just on that little run now, like we said.
Yeah.
Moving on to Shrewsbury against Charlton. So this was the first defeat under the Jackson tenure. and it was a long throw, just caused
Yeah.
absolute havoc. Do you think it was a foul from Cosgrove? He's come through like a bit of a freight train,
Ish.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
Not sure myself.
I don't know.
And I can see why some people were give it. I can see others wouldn't. It's one of the ones. It depends on the day. But if it is, it's like, well, there's no point doing a shoulder tackle anymore.
Literally, that's the thing with these sort of things. It's part of the game, isn't it? Like, it's a contact sport. You know, this is just.
At least it's not as bad as the Brazilian player who got tapped by the referee and dived and tried to get himself a free kick because the referee tapped him on the shoulder and he went to the ground. It's the most funniest thing you've ever seen in your life.
I'll have to check that
It's
out.
ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, very good
Yeah.
week for Shrewsbury.
I don't know if you saw Cottrell's interview afterwards. It just makes me really emotional. Like, it's just the players really, really clearly want to play for that man, and it's really nice to see. Nice to see Morosi making some good saves as well, which ex Rovers.
Yes.
Or the other end of the pitch, Jake. But yes,
Yeah.
But yeah, Cotterill heaping praise on his players for putting the effort in, and they're rewarding him with that effort, and they're getting the results for it. So
yeah, nice to see Charlton be brought back down a bit as well. Just after quite a lot of.
It sounded like Tyler had a right job getting to the game.
Yeah, there was like a tree on the line and everything, wasn't there? It was crazy.
Yeah, you got an 85 quid taxi.
Oh
Wow.
God.
So the penultimate game that we're going to go through is Lincoln against Accrington Stanley, and I mentioned it earlier. How were Accrington going to react from that 4-0 hammering on the weekend? The answer is very, very well. Decent performance. They're set up very well. Lincoln, we
don't
saw
seem
them
like they're hitting the heights of last season, but then again, they went on a flyer after January, didn't they? So I wonder
they're just struggling to score at the minute. Not really got a goal scorer, so that's starting to show a little bit. Colby Bishop getting the goal on the 55th minute, and Lincoln didn't really offer too much after that. So pretty routine win for Accrington, and they'll be happy for that reaction after Tuesday night.
Accrington are one of the best teams I've seen play against this season. You know, I think they were one of the ones that really blew me away, and just like how well they do the basics. So I kind of guessed that after the Burton freshen, they'd come back and do quite well. So I think the only reason Burton won 4-0 was just because we had to play them next, and it'll just rile them up, ready to battle us.
You're sounding like me last season.
We're getting very existential about it all, Jake, to be honest.
We had a situation last season. If a team was on a bad run, you just played us and it just ended.
Yeah, that's how it's been though. Look at Ipswich is another one that's exactly the same, where they battered us 6-0 after that to end their bad run. I'm sick of it. Really sick of it.
We just need to face a team who was on a bad run, and then we might stop ours. But I don't think there's a team on a worse run than what we're on at the minute.
No.
Maybe Crewe. That's about it. But the final game to go through this weekend was today's fixture, Ipswich against Crewe. I've not seen any highlights on this, but I've read a few reports, and by the sounds of it, the Chilena goal is an absolute sublime chip. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. From the reports, it seemed like Ipswich were in control until later on when Chris Long halved the deficit, and then a little bit nervy, but Ipswich held on for the win, which is...
There's something about a dink that's always lovely to see. I think you don't see it that much in football anymore, do you?
No. But yeah, very nice to see. And for us Donny fans, seeing Crewe getting beat is about the only positive thing we've got on a weekend at the minute, because it keeps them at the bottom of the table.
When they scored, I was absolutely mortified. I was like, oh no, we're going to be bottom. And then, thank God for Ipswich, just letting us have at least one more week of not being rock bottom of that table. Because I don't think it'll last long.
I think I asked Dan yesterday, how many points do you think you'll need to survive if you did?
What did I say? I think 38 to 42 this season. I think will be survival. Looking at how tight it is, I think we'll struggle to get 30 with the way that we're going. 19 games in, 13 points. We need a big January.
It really does all depend on January, and but why January? We could already be too late. It could already be too late. So it's a really tricky one.
It would be very interesting to see what your board would do if you're already pretty much gone and dusted. Do they just turn and say, all right, we're going to have you for next season, or do they start making a change now?
Well, I think if we were to get relegated with Richie in charge, they'd keep him next season, because they've got a record of doing that. Did it with Dickoff, did it with Ferguson, and I can't see that changing. To be honest, I don't think they'll sack him. Even if we could he could do anything. I don't think they'll sack him. They're just not that kind of, not like that, are they? As a unit, I don't think. But
No.
I don't know.
We will see. I said in the preview for Burton that the board have got a big decision to make. They either stick with
Sack him.
Richie and back him, or change it now, and it's got to be their decision. I'm on the side of the fence where I think we give the manager time and see how it goes, but the board need to back him, and it's their decision.
I think if they give him time, they've also got to give him money and lots of it.
Yeah.
And that's a hard ask. And I get that, like, we shouldn't have to demand people to pay loads of money for our hobby. Like, I get it. But also, this team is not fit for purpose. There's not enough depth. There's too many injuries. No. This is an emergency. This is when you look at the emergency funding and you do something about it. Because if we go down, that's not good. As much as I would enjoy League Two, because it's always a laugh in it. But
that self-sustainable model that we've got, I don't think is achievable at League Two. But
no, it's not, because you can't get the gates in, can you? And no, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting all philosophical and like.
Oh, good to hear.
Too late on a Sunday night for that sort of stuff. So we'll go through the remainder of the bottom half of the table. Gillingham looking like they could be in a bit of trouble, getting dragged into it. Morecambe too, getting dragged into it. Shrewsbury starting to pull themselves away from the bottom four. If Lincoln don't start getting goal scorers, they could get dragged into it, as well could AFC Wimbledon. I think from 17th down to 24th, that's going to be a battle all season. I think 4 of any one of those will be the 4 to go down. I can't see Cambridge, Charlton, Accrington or Bolton getting pulled into it. So from 17th to 24th.
I don't think Lincoln will either. I don't think Lincoln will either.
We will see.
Yeah. To be honest, I am now just looking at which away games I'd like to go to next season when they go down with us. Like, I was saying, at least Fleetwood might go down. I like going there. I don't want Gillingham to go down though, because it's awful.
Ian's asked, are we having a cup round next Sunday, or do we reconvene in a fortnight? Probably have a cup round, because Wednesday and Donny are both playing.
Yeah, until one of us gets knocked out. So after this round, probably.
So we'll probably have an FA Cup special again next week, and I'll pick and choose.
We're out.
Oh yeah, you're out. Never mind.
Sorry, James.
I was like, yeah, I was like, no, we're out. We lost a whatever.
Leave it with me. I'll let you know on Twitter throughout the week.
I'll happily come on even though my team's not in.
But a little bit more positive than the FA Cup defeat to Plymouth is Sheffield Wednesday just outside the top 6 by 1 point, but MK Dons have played 1 game less. So how do you see that panning out?
My only concern at the minute is how many clubs above us who've got game in hand. If they start picking them up, it's gonna be an interesting one, because Christmas games are coming in thick and fast. We don't tend to do well after Christmas.
You sound like Darren Moore then, thick and fast.
I've listened to so many sodding interviews. It's ingrained on me now. I actually had an edit as a video for the review, and I had to stop and take some erms out because it was doing my head in. Because it's like it's infectious.
People in glass houses and all that.
Yeah, we just signed Lang on a free transfer as well, which will boost us. So we've got more wingers than we know what to do with. We haven't got any centre backs, but we've got wingers. But it's a start, and it's looking positive. And he said he wanted to build a solid foundation. He's slowly doing that. Yeah, we got a lot of draw, but now we're starting to see some of the fruits of our labour with scoring goals and Josh Windass being back. We just need to be more clinical. If we can be more clinical, I personally think we are owed a team a battering because of how we're playing at times. And I just don't know when. But I said that last season.
When have you got us?
I don't want to do that. That don't sit right with me.
The remainder of the top 6 is looking very strong at the minute. MK Dons, Sunderland, Plymouth.
It's tight as well, so it can be fun.
Yeah. I am sceptical about whether Sunderland will stay in the top 6. I think Wednesday will go in and Sunderland will drop out. That's my prediction. I don't think they're playoff ready yet.
Starting to pick up as well.
Especially with McGeady being out for so long now. Yeah. He's out for like 3 months, isn't he? So that's going to really halter Sunderland's any momentum that they had, I think. But we'll see.
But then again,
Yeah.
you've got a January transfer window as well, haven't they?
Yeah, true. They'll just probably buy off the league, so it won't really matter with it.
But the top two is looking very healthy for Wigan and Rotherham fans, with Wigan same points as Rotherham, 1 game behind, but I'd much rather have the points on the table than a game in hand.
A manager for you two, after photo, what do you think about the ex-Preston manager if you got the chance to?
I don't know. I feel like if we were to have a new manager, it'd have to be something really like different, you know. Like, so I'm not sure.
I think you said it earlier was that you need. I think we're at a point now where we need a manager that's got experience at this level.
With man management in particular, I would say. So like
Darren
keeping
Moore did
players'
well,
heads
but-
up.
Yeah, I mean Darren Moore did well. Butler, I think he was thrown in at the deep end. Did never
Yeah,
have
he
the
was
managerial
dealt a-
experience properly.
Dealt a terrible hand, wasn't he?
Yeah, same with Richie. I think he's been dealt a tough hand. Never really had any experience or prolonged experience at this level. He's shown that he can do it at League Two level to a certain
Well,
extent.
maybe next season will be fine then.
There we go. But yeah, I think we need to. If
Yeah.
the decision's made that Richie goes, I think it's
It needs to
somebody
be
in
made
with experience
quickly.
at this level.
It needs, and if he is going to go, it needs to be before January so he can get players in, whoever the new manager is.
Yeah.
But I mean, every time I think about it, I genuinely don't know how I feel. So if it sounds like I'm all over the place, it's because I am.
Yeah. You and me both. We are struggling as Rovers fans at the minute. So hopefully that turns around as
Yep.
the season goes on. But yeah, we've taken up almost an hour of your time this Sunday
Yay.
evening. I hope everybody who's joined us has enjoyed it. We normally stick to around half an hour, but yeah, we've had a lot to talk about.
A lot of
If we
games
do
though, a lot
so.
of games. A lot of
Yeah.
games, a lot of trauma that needed to get out.
Trauma.
Have you
Oh,
both
wow.
enjoyed the therapy session?
Yes.
We
It's
will
free, which
continue
helps.
this again next next
Yeah,
Sunday.
I think we'll rebrand this as Sunday Therapy.
Just
Rather than a League One review, just Sunday Therapy with Punk Chef, 18 Dapper and Lizzie.
yeah, works for me. Or
That
just-
works for me.
yeah,
No, I
sounds
hope
good.
everybody who's been watching has enjoyed it. As always, please follow Jake and the Women's Supporters Group on the socials. The link's in the description to this
Yeah.
video. If you're watching this on the repeat throughout the week, please get your comments in. I will try to get back to them as the week goes on. But all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
So yeah.